Well, we found a few of these small little fish here. They're like brook trout, small little river brook, about like that big. Not very big, but we don't have any fishing tackle or nothing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a 4-prong spear, just primitive, real quick. Doesn't take too long to do. I take this is just a piece of cedar I found on one of these logs here. Grabbed it. This is actually, I use the small end for the spear, or for my hand, and the larger end is actually the spear bottom. So then what I would do is I'd actually split this. Let's see without hurting myself. I'll split it. Like that. Like this. There. Now we have 4 splits made in this. That was not very strong, but that's okay. There's still some cedar right here. There. Take another one. All we want to do is force these jaws open up. That one's not very good, but I'll fix that with some cordage. Alright, so now with the jaws all opened up like that, I have a quick little spear. Now the next step would be to leave most of this on here. Alright. So next step we'll need to find some sort of cordage to use on this. So let's see what we got here for a selection of cordage. I guess we could use some cedar bark. Let's take a chunk of the cedar bark. We just need to get it pretty fiberized. This might be too old to use. Oh, pretty old. So the next thing we'd have to use is some sort of cordage material that we can use around here. We're down by the water, so really where we needed to find it would be up here. We got some ivy roots and stuff, but I see some other things that we could probably use for a substitute. I will walk across here and grab it. This is a quick, this is something I wouldn't use for a long time, but I could definitely use it for a bit. Alright, so now we can split these roots, I believe. It should work pretty decent, just like splitting the spruce root. Maybe. You never know till you try, right? Let me get a straight shot on it. Alright. So what we're going to do is just see if we can utilize what we got here without going too far to look for it. Maybe this will work pretty decent as some natural cordage for us. We'll never know until you give it a whirl. So far it's not too bad. I've seen worse. Unfortunately, I got these knots that I got to contend with, which aren't giving me much help. There we go. I just used the weight of the knife to help cut through the knots, so that way I don't strip it too far. Alright, well, I'm getting enough probably now. Where, there we go. I'll stop for brief. Looks like it's pliable. So now all I want to do is I left one side kind of big. We can just kind of chunk it in there. Wrap it around. Like this. And in between this one. Lock it in on that effectively. Bring it back upon itself here. Lock that down. That one. Back down to this one. So this will work decently. Like I said, I wouldn't use it for a long time, but if I was hungry and I just wanted to catch these little fish, this is how I'd do it in a hurry. There. So now I effectively locked all that open. My stuff won't fall out of it. Now I can get a little deep. Yeah, I'm not worry about that. Now I can go ahead and sharpen these into little points. We're doing this in real time so you can see how long it actually takes us to make it, minus finding the stick. Everything else was pretty much all we had to look for and build, so. So now you just take your time and work these into a nice little point. We'll see if we can catch us some fish. And of course it works better if you have a saw and you can cut the piece flat and then work with that. I'm working with one I chopped with the knife, so it'll take a little bit more work for me to get this into points because my ends are funky. Make sure you have a really sharp knife always when you're working with bushcraft of any sort. And what this does is it gives me 4 opportunities to hit the fish instead of just one using a standard single spear type point by itself. The other thing I want to do is backwards notch so anything I catch won't slip out easy, because these guys are probably a little bit slimy and you don't want them to slide off. You want them to slide on easy but not off easy. So you got to put some sort of barbs on them basically to keep the critter on there. Now we're making some headway. And you can see it's relatively strong. It isn't falling apart even though I'm really reefing on the thing. My cordage is actually working relatively decent. Just for having what we had. Not bad. I'm laying up here so I have a little bit more support. So I can work a little bit better, hold it with my knee. Yeah. Dig in a little better. So see, I'm already making a barb there. I got one barb made. And that way when I stick the fish, I'll make this sharp, and when I stick the fish, he won't come back out of that. Whoa. So I got a nice little primitive spear, really quick to make, 4-prong. Some real rough spikes on it just to help. Leave that barb there. Alright. So I got pretty good points on it now. Make sure my cordage is still nice and wrapped. Now we're ready to fish. This extra. Oops. Just get this extra piece out of our way. So now we have a fish spear.